Life is a series of unfolding moments, a dance of impermanence where people, places, and events come and go, often without warning. We hold on, clinging to the familiar, because it feels safe. Yet in this attachment lies our greatest struggle. What we fail to see is that life, in its infinite wisdom, often clears the path for something greater, something beyond what we can comprehend in the moment. When people leave your life, it feels as though a piece of you has been torn away. But consider this: what if their departure isn't an accident or a punishment? What if it is the very hand of divine intelligence creating space, removing the distractions, and aligning you with a greater purpose? The absence of someone is not always a loss. It can be an invitation to grow, to reflect, and to step into a new version of yourself. It is the pruning of a tree, painful but necessary for it to flourish. We often ask why things fall apart, why relationships fade, or why we are left in the silence of solitude. But perhaps the question is not why has this happened to me, but what is life trying to show me? In removing the old, life prepares the ground for something new. The absence of others can be the presence of clarity, of stillness, and of profound transformation. If we pay attention, we'll notice that life operates with precision. People come into our lives to teach, to guide, to challenge, and even to hurt us. But when their role in our journey is complete, they must leave. It is not cruelty, it is necessity. To hold on to them beyond their time would be like grasping water in your hand. What was meant to flow would stagnate. The great paradox is this: we resist change, but change is the only constant. In clinging to what must go, we hinder the process of becoming. When everyone seems to leave and the silence feels unbearable, it is then that we are closest to the truth. It is in the void that the greatest transformations occur. What appears to be emptiness is actually a canvas, waiting for the brushstrokes of a new chapter. Trust that there is a greater order at work, a pattern too vast for our minds to grasp. The loss of one thing is the birth of another. Life is not random, it is deliberate. When we surrender to its flow, we discover that the spaces left behind are not voids but gateways. It is in these moments of perceived loss that life whispers, "You are ready for more." Let go of the need to understand every detail. Let go of the pain of resistance. Trust that life removes not to harm you, but to prepare you. The journey is not about what you lose, it is about what you become in the process. There was a man who lived a life of deep connection with the people around him. His friends, family, and relationships felt like the foundation of his existence. He built his life on these bonds, believing they would carry him through any storm. Yet one by one, those connections began to fade. People he loved drifted away, circumstances changed, and he found himself standing in an empty space, questioning everything he thought he understood about life. At first he fought against the emptiness. He reached out to those who had left, trying to hold onto the threads of relationships that were slipping through his fingers. But no matter how hard he tried, nothing worked. The more he resisted, the more he suffered. He asked himself why life would be so cruel as to take everything away from him. The silence that surrounded him felt unbearable. In the stillness of his solitude, something unexpected began to happen. He started to hear a voice, not a literal voice, but an inner knowing that seemed to emerge from the quiet. It whispered that the emptiness he felt wasn't meant to harm him, it was meant to prepare him. It told him that life was clearing his path, removing everything that no longer aligned with the person he was becoming. At first he didn't believe it. How could losing so much be for his good? But as the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, he began to notice things he hadn't seen before. Without the noise of others' opinions and expectations, he could finally hear his own thoughts clearly. He could feel his own desires, his own dreams, unclouded by the influence of those who once surrounded him. The emptiness began to feel less like a void and more like an open field of blank canvas where something new could be created. He realized that the people who had left weren't taken away out of punishment, but because their role in his life had been fulfilled. Their departure wasn't an ending, it was a beginning. They had been stepping stones on his journey, and now it was time for him to walk a new path, one that could only be traveled alone. In this space of solitude, opportunities began to present themselves. A new door opened, one he hadn't seen before, because he had been so focused on holding on to what was behind him. The person he was becoming didn't need the approval or support of those who had left. He needed to trust the process, to let life flow as it was meant to. With each step forward, he grew stronger. He found himself achieving things he once thought impossible. The pain of loss had transformed into a profound sense of clarity and purpose. He no longer looked back with regret, but with gratitude. Every person, every experience, every goodbye had shaped him into who he was meant to be. As he stood in the fullness of his new life, he understood the truth he couldn't see before. Life doesn't take without giving in return. It removes not to harm, but to prepare. It creates space not for emptiness, but for expansion. And when everything seems to fall away, it's because something greater is on its way. The man smiled, not because life had been easy, but because it had been right. He now knew that every loss was a step towards something more, and every ending was just the beginning of something beautiful. Life has a way of removing the people and situations that no longer serve our growth, even when we struggle to understand why. It may feel harsh, unfair, or even cruel, but this process is not random. Life, in its infinite wisdom, knows what you need to move forward, even when you don't. Sometimes the things we cling to the most are the very things holding us back. The relationships you once depended on, the routines that felt secure, or the environments you believed were permanent, these are not always meant to stay with you forever. When life removes something or someone, it is creating space. It is clearing the clutter, making room for the new experiences, opportunities, and people that are meant to align with the person you are becoming. Think of it as pruning a tree. The branches that are cut away are not removed out of spite, they are removed to allow new growth, to give the tree the strength to flourish. Similarly, the changes in your life may feel painful in the moment, but they are often the very foundation for something greater. What you see as loss is, in truth, preparation. Life is aligning you with a purpose that can only unfold when the old is cleared away. When life removes people or situations from your world, it often leaves behind a sense of emptiness, a void that feels impossible to fill. In that silence, it's easy to mistake the absence for a failure, a punishment, or a loss. But what if that emptiness isn't meant to harm you? What if it's a sacred space created for your transformation? The truth is, this void is not the end, it's the beginning of a powerful shift within you. In the quiet moments where everything seems to have fallen apart, you are being given the opportunity to reflect and rediscover yourself. Without the noise of outside influences, you can hear your own voice clearly for the first time in years. You can begin to recognize what you truly want, what your soul is calling you to do. This emptiness becomes a cocoon, a space where you shed the layers of who you were and begin to emerge as something entirely new. Transformation doesn't happen when everything is comfortable. It happens when you are forced to confront the silence, to sit with the discomfort, and to trust that life is doing something far greater than you can see in the moment. The emptiness is not a void, it's a field of possibility. It's the soil where new seeds can be planted, seeds that will grow into the next chapter of your life. And though the process may feel slow, even agonizing at times, it is in this emptiness that the most profound changes occur. Life is not breaking you down, it is building you into someone stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your purpose. Letting go is one of the hardest lessons life teaches us, yet it is also one of the most powerful. When life takes people or circumstances away, our first instinct is often to hold on tighter, to resist the change, and to try to force things back to the way they were. But the truth is, holding on to what no longer belongs in your life can only keep you stuck. Growth requires release. By clinging to the past, you prevent yourself from moving forward, from stepping into the future that is waiting for you. Letting go is not about giving up or forgetting. It's about understanding that everything and everyone in your life has a purpose. And when that purpose is fulfilled, It's time to move on. It's not a rejection of what was, it's an acceptance of what is. When you release what is no longer meant for you, you free yourself to grow, to evolve, and to embrace new experiences. You create space for new people to come into your life, for new opportunities to unfold, and for the next chapter of your story to begin. Letting go is an act of trust. It's trusting that life knows what it's doing, even when you don't. It's trusting that the empty spaces left behind are not voids, but invitations for something greater. And it's trusting that your path is unfolding exactly as it should, even when it feels uncertain. When you let go, you're not losing, you're gaining. You're gaining freedom, clarity, and the ability to fully step into the person you are meant to become. Letting go is not the end, it is the doorway to your greatest transformation. When people or situations are removed from your life, it's easy to focus on the pain of loss. It feels like a chapter closing, like something irreplaceable has been taken away. But what if those losses aren't endings at all? What if they're the beginnings of something far greater than you could ever imagine? Life doesn't remove things to leave you empty, it removes to make room for expansion, to prepare you for blessings and opportunities you cannot yet see. Imagine trying to fill a cup that's already overflowing. No matter how good the new water is, there's no space for it. The same is true in life. Sometimes you need to let go of what no longer serves you to make space for what is meant to come. The people who leave, the doors that close, the things you think you can't live without, all of these create the room you need to grow into the person you're destined to be. The loss isn't meant to diminish you, it's meant to expand you, to stretch you into a greater version of yourself. Life's wisdom is far greater than our own. It knows when you're ready for something bigger, even when you feel unprepared. And to bring that into your life, it has to first remove what no longer fits. The process may feel like breaking, but in reality it's building. Each loss is a clearing, a preparation for the seeds of the future to take root. Every departure is a signal that something new is on its way, something that aligns with your purpose and your higher self. The beauty of this process is that over time, you begin to see the truth. What you thought was taken from you was never meant to stay. The space created by loss becomes the foundation for new growth, new people, and new opportunities. Life doesn't leave you empty-handed. It's always leading you to something greater, something more aligned with who you are becoming. Trust the process, because what feels like the end is often just the beginning of your greatest expansion. Life's removals are never random, and neither is the timing behind them. Each shift, each transition is part of a larger plan that you may not fully understand in the moment, but it is always working in your favor. It's easy to feel as though things are happening too quickly or not fast enough, but there is a wisdom in life's timing that surpasses our understanding. The people and situations that leave your life do so when the timing is right for you to step into something greater. This timing is not something you control, but something you must trust, knowing that everything is falling into place exactly as it should. When you trust divine timing, you acknowledge that there is a plan unfolding even when you cannot see it. Life doesn't remove what you need, but what you've outgrown. When things are taken from you, it's not a sign of abandonment, it's an invitation to trust that the next chapter is already in motion. The spaces left behind are the very openings that allow new experiences and new people to enter at the perfect time. Your journey is being aligned with a divine order, and every moment, even the painful ones, is contributing to your growth. Trust that life knows what it's doing. What is meant for you will always come at the perfect time. As life removes people and circumstances from your world, it often leads you down a path you cannot yet see, a path that feels uncertain and unfamiliar. It's natural to want to know what's ahead, to have a map or a clear guide showing you the way, but life doesn't always work that way. The unseen path is one that requires faith and trust in the journey. You may not know where the next step leads, but it's precisely this uncertainty that gives you the opportunity to grow. The more you embrace the unknown, the more you open yourself up to possibilities beyond your imagination. Each time you step into the unknown, you are stepping into the highest version of yourself. The discomfort you feel along the way is not a sign that you're lost. It's proof that you are being stretched, that you are being prepared for something much greater. When you let go of the need for certainty, you open yourself to the magic of discovery. Life will not lead you down a path that is not meant for you. Embrace the steps that feel unclear, knowing that each one brings you closer to the person you are meant to be. Trust that the path unfolding before you is exactly what you need to move forward, and in time what is unseen will reveal itself as exactly what you were meant to walk. The pain of separation, whether it's from people, situations, or parts of yourself, often feels unbearable in the moment. It's easy to view separation as a loss, a rupture in your life that leaves you feeling broken. But in truth, separation can be one of the most profound forms of healing. It's in these moments of parting that you are given the space to heal, to reflect, and to reconnect with who you are at your core. Life removes what is no longer meant for you, so that you can rediscover your true self without the influence of what once weighed you down. Healing through separation occurs when you are no longer tethered to what held you in place. The act of letting go, though difficult, allows you to release old wounds, outdated beliefs, and limiting patterns that kept you from becoming who you are truly meant to be. It's in the solitude that follows that you find the strength to rebuild, to nurture yourself, and to create new beginnings. Every experience of separation is an opportunity to clear away the emotional clutter and make room for fresh, vibrant energy to flow into your life. You may not see it immediately, but separation is a clearing, a space where new growth can take root. When you allow yourself to fully experience the pain and let it move through you, you create the conditions for deep healing. The absence of what once was becomes a fertile ground for new opportunities, new people, and new possibilities to enter. Embrace the healing that comes with separation, knowing that what has been removed is making way for a more authentic and powerful version of yourself. The pain of separation, whether from people, places, or situations, often feels like a wound that will never heal. It's a natural human response to resist letting go, to mourn what was lost, and to cling to what feels familiar. The separation can be from a relationship that no longer serves you, a job that no longer fulfills you, or even a version of yourself that no longer aligns with who you are becoming. It's easy to view these moments as the end of something precious, the closing of a door that can never be opened again. But in truth, every form of separation, no matter how painful, is a part of a much larger healing process. When life removes people or situations from your world, it is not doing so to punish you. It is often the exact opposite. It's giving you the space you need to heal, to evolve, and to step into a new version of yourself. Healing through separation is about recognizing that what was taken away was no longer meant for you. It may have once served a purpose, it may have once brought you joy or comfort, but now it has outlived its relevance in your life. The act of separation, while painful, is often an act of divine intervention, a necessary step to clear the way for something new to come into your life. The challenge lies in our ability to see this larger picture while we are in the throes of pain. The initial response to loss is often a sense of confusion, anger, or even resentment. Why did this happen? Why is this person or situation being removed from my life? These are natural questions to ask, but they miss the deeper understanding that life removes what is no longer in alignment with your path. It takes courage to acknowledge that sometimes we hold on to things and people out of fear, habit, or insecurity, not because they serve us. When we are forced to let go, we are forced to confront our own attachments, our own limitations, and our own growth. In the process, we are made stronger, more resilient, and more connected to our true selves. Healing through separation is not an overnight process. It is a journey that requires patience, self-compassion, and a willingness to feel the full weight of what has been lost. There is no shortcut to healing, no way to bypass the discomfort that comes with change. But through that discomfort, healing happens. Each moment of grief, each tear shed, each day spent missing what once was, is a step closer to wholeness. And with each step, you begin to shed the layers of who you were and move closer to who you are meant to be. You begin to heal not only from the separation itself, but from everything that came before it. In the absence of what was, there is an opportunity to rediscover yourself. When relationships end or situations fall apart, it's easy to forget who you are without them. You may have defined yourself by your job, by your relationship, by the things you had. When those things are taken away, you are left with nothing but yourself. But in that emptiness, you find something beautiful, your own strength, your own resilience, and your own ability to rebuild. This is the essence of healing through separation, the realization that you are whole, with or without anything external. Healing also comes in the form of self-reflection. When you are separated from someone or something that once occupied a significant place in your life, you are given the opportunity to reflect on what that thing or person truly represented. What did it teach you? What lessons did you learn from the connection? More importantly, what have you outgrown? Separation often forces us to take a hard look at ourselves, to face the ways we have changed and the ways we need to change. It offers us the space to heal old wounds, release past patterns, and become more aware of the things that truly serve us. This process of reflection is vital for growth because it allows us to understand why things fell apart and what we can learn from the experience. The lessons in separation are often about boundaries, self-worth, or the courage to let go when the time is right. It's a time to assess your own role in the situation and recognize that sometimes the most healing thing you can do is walk away. Healing through separation also allows us to create space for forgiveness, not only for others but for ourselves. The act of letting go is not about holding grudges or punishing others. It's about freeing ourselves from the emotional weight that keeps us tethered to the past. One of the most profound aspects of healing through separation is the creation of space. When a person or situation leaves your life, it may initially feel like emptiness. You may feel lonely or adrift, unsure of what to do with the new space in your life. But what you don't always see in the moment is that this empty space is fertile ground for new growth. It is in this space that new people, new opportunities, and new experiences can enter your life. You cannot make room for the new until you release the old. And sometimes the act of letting go is the most powerful thing you can do to open yourself to what life has in store for you. Healing through separation is also about trusting that what is meant for you will always come. When we let go of something or someone, there is a fear that we are losing something that we will never get back. But what if what you are losing is not the end, but the beginning of something far greater? Separation makes way for the new, for the next chapter in your life that is waiting for you to step into. You may not see it now, but the spaces left behind will soon be filled with things that are better aligned with who you are and where you are going. Life has a way of bringing you exactly what you need when you release what no longer serves you. In the end, healing through separation is a reminder that life is constantly in motion. It is a journey of growth, change, and transformation. Each time you experience loss or separation, you are being asked to expand, to grow, and to step into a new version of yourself. It is a difficult but beautiful process, one that clears away the old and makes room for the new. Embrace the healing that comes through separation, knowing that each loss is not the end, but the beginning of something much greater. In the grand design of life, every moment of loss, every person who fades away, and every change that shakes you to your core is not a setback, but a step forward. Life removes what no longer serves you, not to hurt you, but to prepare you for the greater things that are waiting just ahead. The emptiness you feel is not a void, it is fertile ground for your growth, your transformation, and your evolution. The letting go is not a surrender to despair, but a release of what limits you, creating the space for new possibilities to unfold. As painful as it may seem, each loss is a catalyst for your expansion. You are being guided toward a future that can only be realized when you trust the process, when you believe that life's timing is perfect, and when you embrace the spaces left behind as opportunities for new beginnings. The people who leave, the doors that close, are not signs of defeat. They are signs that you are being led toward a life that is in perfect alignment with your highest purpose. So as you stand in the midst of what feels like loss, remember you are not being abandoned. You are being prepared. You are being expanded. You are being expanded. You are being elevated to the next level of your journey. Trust that life's removals are always followed by its greatest blessings. embrace the emptiness, let go of the past, and open your heart to the limitless future that awaits. Dear Divine Presence, I come before you with a heart that seeks understanding, with a spirit that longs to trust in the process of life. Thank you for the wisdom you bestow upon me, for guiding me through the seasons of change and helping me embrace the transitions, no matter how difficult they may seem. I trust that every person, every situation, and every moment removed from my life is part of your divine plan for my growth, for my expansion, and for the fulfillment of my highest purpose. In times of loss, help me to see not what is gone, but what is being made ready for me. Grant me the strength to release what no longer serves me, to step into the unknown with courage, and to trust that you are leading me towards something greater than I can imagine. Fill the spaces left behind with your light, your love, and your wisdom. Let every empty moment be an opportunity for me to grow stronger, clearer, and more aligned with my true path. I ask for the peace to accept change without resistance, for the grace to trust in your perfect timing, and for the faith to know that I am always being guided to exactly where I need to be. Let me walk forward with confidence, knowing that your plan for me is unfolding in ways beyond my understanding. Thank you for your unwavering support, for the beauty of transformation, and for the limitless future that awaits me. In your divine presence I find peace. Amen.